my wheels. Alright, I'm going to now enter my vehicle using 3 points of contact. Alright, and now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect my seatbelt. So, got my seatbelt, it's not loose, missing, or damaged. Not torn, not frayed. Matches properly, got all these nuts and bolts. Now, I'm going to turn my truck to the run position to check my dashboard lights. Looking to see that my ABS light and my DEF light come on and off, which lets me know they're working properly. And now I'm going to perform a safe start to build my air pressure to 125, the governor cutoff rate. Alright, I'm going to be listening for my sneeze, and while I'm waiting for my air pressure to build, I'll check the inside of my cab. So I'm going to start off with my traffic monitoring devices. I got my 2 hood mirrors, my 2 door mirrors. They're not loose, missing, or damaged. They're not cracked or broken. They're mounted securely and they're adjusted to my view. I got my windshield. My windshield is not loose, missing, or damaged. It's not cracked or broken. There's no legal stickers, no obstructions blocking my view. Mounted securely. Moving down to my windshield wipers. They're not loose, missing, or damaged. They're not cracked or broken. They got the proper tension to the windshield. Wiper blade not dry rotted. Washer just work properly. Moving on to my horns. City horn, air horn, working properly. Moving on to my heater and defroster. Turn it up. Defrost. Fill at the top. On the bottom. Go under. And my air's flowing properly. Now I'm gonna move on to my lights. Dome light, left turn signal, right turn signal, 4-way flashes, headlights, high beams. All my lights are working properly. Now, I'm going to check my emergency equipment. Got my spare bulbs and fuses. They're in the box. They're not loose, missing, or damaged. They're properly secured, not cracked or broken. I got my 3 reflective triangles. My 3 reflective triangles are not loose, missing, or damaged. They're not cracked or broken. They're mounted securely and they reflect light properly. And I have my ABC fire extinguisher, which is mounted securely. The needle is in the green, which lets me know it's fully charged, operating properly. Now, I'm just going to wait until I hear my governor cutoff rate of 125, my sneeze. Alright, so we heard my sneeze. So now that I'm at 125, I'm going to start my air brake leakage test. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my truck off. I'm going to turn it back to the run position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push in my tractor and my trailer valve. I'm going to let the air settle and I'm going to step my foot on the service brake. So before I do that, I want to ask the examiner, can you time me for 60 seconds? I want to make sure I don't lose more than 4 psi in a minute.
Yes.
Push it in, let the air settle. Once my foot goes on the brake, time starts. Time starts now. Alright, and I did not lose more than 4 psi in a minute. Now I'm going to put my brake pedal down until my air pressure is at 60 psi and my low air warning pressure signals come on, buzzer and signals. Alright, I got both of my lights, my low air brake warning lights and my buzzer. Now I'm going to pump down between 45 and 20 psi until my valves engage. We'll pop back out. Alright, both my valves pop back out at 25 psi. Now I'm going to perform a safe start again to build my air pressure back to 125 psi so I can perform my air brake tug test. This time I'm gonna hold my foot on the gas between 10 and 15 RPMs, 1,000 and 1,500 RPMs. Help my air pressure build a little faster. Let me know I'm at 125 PSI. So now I'm going to start my air brake tug test. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push in my tractor valve to test my trailer valve. And then I'm going to put my truck in drive. I'm going to tap on the gas so I feel a small tug. Push it in my tractor valve. Put my truck in drive. Slightly tap it on the gas. Bam. That tug lets me know my brake held properly. Now I'm going to push in my trailer brake to test my tractor brakes or my parking brake. Same thing. Drive. Gas until I feel a small tug. Bam. Right there. So that tug lets me know that my parking brakes are working properly. Put my truck back in neutral. Pulling back out my valve. Alright, so now I'm going to test my service brake, or I'm going to explain how to test my service brake. I'm going to push both of my valves in, put my truck in drive, pull forward at 5 miles per hour. I'll stop using my service brake, making sure that my truck doesn't pull to the left or the right, letting me know that my slack adjusters are working properly. If it did pull to the left or the right, I would take it to a certified mechanic. Now, I'm going to ask you to step outside and help me with checking my outside lights. Now I'm going to inspect my outside of my cab. So I'm starting at the top. I got my 5 ID clearance lights. They're not loose, missing, or damaged. Not cracked or broken. Mounted securely with the correct nuts and bolts. Proper color amber. Moving on down, I got my traffic monitor devices, my 2 hood mirrors, my 2 door mirrors. They're not loose, missing, or damaged. They're not cracked or broken. They're mounted securely to my truck. Moving on down, I got my left turn signal and my right turn signal. They're not cracked or broken. They're mounted securely to my truck, and the proper color is amber. Got my left and my right headlights, both headlights. Not loose, missing, or damaged. Not cracked or broken. Clean, clear, not cracked, proper color clear. Now I'm going to take a step back. I'm looking under my truck. I'm checking for any leaks, any puddles, such as coolant or oil indicating any leaks. I don't see any. Now I'm looking from left to right, front to rear. Checking my vehicle suspension. I see that my vehicle is sitting level, so the suspension is good. Coming around the side. I got my tractor side marker light. It's not loose, missing, or damaged. Not cracked or broken. Has all its nuts and bolts. Proper color amber. Coming on down, I have my front trailer clearance light. It's not loose, missing, or damaged. Mounted securely to the trailer. Proper color amber. Coming on down the side of the trailer, I got my DOT reflective tape. It's red and white in color. Not loose, missing, or damaged. Mounted securely to the side of the truck. Proper color, red and white. Reflects light properly. I got my ABS light. It's not loose, missing, or damaged. Not cracked or broken. Mounted securely. Proper color, amber. I have my trailer side marker light. Not loose, missing, or damaged. Not cracked or broken. Proper color, red. Back to the top, I have my rear 3 clearance lights, not loose, missing, or damaged, not cracked or broken. They're mounted securely, proper color red. Got my DOT reflective tape at the top of my door, my bottom of my door, my bumper. That all can be checked the same way as the side of my truck. Then I have my brake lights. Not loose, missing, or damaged. They're not cracked or broken. They're mounted securely with the correct nuts and bolts, proper color, red. Got my tag light. Not loose, missing, or damaged. It's mounted securely, not cracked or broken, proper color, clear. All my lights on my passenger side can be checked the same way as my driver's side. Now I'm going to go check under my hood. I'm going to open my hood using 3/4 of contact. Starting off with my fluids. Right here is my coolant reservoir hose, or my coolant hose. Both are not loose, missing, or damaged, not cracked or broken, mounted securely with the correct clamp, not dry rotted, not leaking. Then that's for my hose. For my reservoir, it's not loose, missing, or damaged, properly secured with all the correct nuts and bolts. It's a pressurized system. I wouldn't open while it's hot because it has room for expansion. I can check it between the add and the full mark. Bam. Next, I have my engine oil fill tube and dipstick. Both are not loose, missing, or damaged. They're not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking. To check my engine oil, I would pull the dipstick out. I would wipe it clean. I would reinsert it and pull it back out, making sure that it's between the add and the full mark. Right here, I have my air compressor and my air hoses. They're not loose, missing, or damaged, not cracked or broken, mounted securely with all the correct nuts and bolts, not leaking. My hoses are securely mounted, and so is my compressor. Moving on to my power steering reservoir and hose. Both not loose, missing, or damaged, not cracked, not broken, not leaking. My hose is clamped to the reservoir properly. It's not dry rotted, it's not leaking. My reservoir is not missing any nuts or bolts, and I can check it between the add and the full mark. Moving on to my steering system. Got my steering shaft, my U-joints, power steering gearbox, Pitman arm, castle nuts and cotter pins, castle nut cotter pins, got more right here, castle nut cotter pins, and my drag link. All are not loose, missing, or damaged. All are not cracked or broken. All are mounted securely. My U-joint is properly greased. My power steering gearbox is not dented or leaking. Not missing any castle nuts or cotter pins. Moving on to my suspension system. In the front, I have my spring mount, my leaf springs, U-bolts, shock absorber, and in the back right here, I got my spring hinge. All are not loose, missing, or damaged. All are not cracked or broken, and all are mounted securely. My leaf springs are not scissored or misaligned. My U-bolts aren't missing any bolts. My shock absorber is not dented or leaking. Moving on to my air brake system. I have my air brake chamber, my chamber holes, my couplings and fittings, my lining and drum. All are not loose, missing, or damaged. All are mounted securely to the bracket. My air brake chamber is not leaking. My air brake hose is not dry rotted or leaking. Right here I got my ABS line, which can supply air to my brakes properly. I don't know my push rod is like that's serious. My push rod has no more than 1 inch of play. My entire air brake system is free of contaminants such as dirt and grease. Moving on to my tire, I got the top of my tire, the outside of my tire, and the inside of my tire. It's free of cuts, bulges, and gouges. It has 4/30 seconds of tread depth, which can be checked with the tread depth gauge inside my truck. Properly inflated to 95 to 105 psi, which can be checked with the air pressure gauge inside of my truck. My front tires cannot be mismatched or retreaded. Got my rims, my lug nuts, and my valve stem. They're all not loose, missing, or damaged, not cracked or broken, mounted securely. My rim has no illegal welds or unmanufactured holes. My lug nuts have no shininess, shavings, or rust, indicating looseness. Look at this touching me. And my air valve stem is facing outward with the metal cap. Moving on to my DEF and my fuel tank. Both not loose, missing, or damaged, not cracked or broken, mounted securely with the correct rubber straps and gaskets. Not leaking. My lids are on securely, and they have a rubber seal inside, which is not dry rotting. Now I'm moving on to my battery. My battery is not loose, missing, or damaged. It's not cracked or broken, mounted securely. There's no corrosion on the terminals. There's no shaved or exposed wires. And the lid is closed properly. Moving on to my airlines. Got my red emergency, my blue service, and my green electrical. My electrical line has no shaved or exposed wires coming from it. All my lines are seated and sealed to the trailer for enough slack off the catwalk, and they have enough slack to make turns. Moving on back, got my rear tires. My rear tires, rims, and lug nuts can all be checked the same as the front, with the exception that my rear tires are bud rims and tires. So it's two of them. My bud rims have no daylight in between. My bud tires are not touching. My rear tires are 2/32 of tread depth and can be mismatched and retreaded. My metal valve stem is facing inward with the metal cap. My suspension in the rear can be checked the same as the front, with the exception of my airbag. Not loose, missing, or damaged. It's not cracked or broken. It's mounted securely. It's not dry rotted. It's not leaking. Coming on down, we'll check my fifth wheel. Got my apron, my release handle, my skid plate, my kingpin, my lock jaws, they're on the inside. Got my platform pivot pin, my platform, my sliding fifth wheel. All are not loose, missing, or damaged. All are not cracked or broken, all mounted securely. My locking jaws are securely around my kingpin. My skid plate is properly greased and faced in a downward position. I'm not missing any platform pivot pins. My release handle is in the lock position. My whole fifth wheel is in a position where it will not hit the landing gear when making turns. That's what I got. Now I'm going to move on to my frame. Right here I got my tractor frame. And in the back I got my trailer frame. Both are not loose, missing, or damaged. They have no legal welds, no unmanufactured holes, not missing any nuts or bolts. And they can support the weight of a cargo. I'm also going to check my landing gear. What the heck are these spiders? Got my crank handle, my leg, my foot, and my support frame. All not loose, missing, or damaged. All not cracked or broken, mounted securely. My crank handle is stowed away in the proper position. My leg is properly greased. And my foot is raised with enough clearance for driving on the road. Everything on my passenger side can be checked the same way as my driver's side. And this is the end of my inspection.